Christ is risen, my dear viewers. I congratulate you all on the radiant feast of Christ's resurrection, the bright feast of Pascha, which is celebrated by all Orthodox Christians. So what has happened on the line of contact over the past few days? Well, the main direction as before is the Ocheretin sector, where our troops, securing the flanks of our grouping that broke through beyond Ocheretin, already far to the west on Ocheretina to Novo Alexandrovka, secured the flanks of this grouping. On the whole, the battles for Arkhangelskoye were over. The enemy was thrown out of the northern Cheretin strongholds and thrown back, quite noticeably, to the north, and thus our troops secured the right flank of further offensive operations. Moreover, yesterday, despite the bright holiday of Easter, well, yesterday in general there were quite a few, or rather very inactive hostilities. Our troops noticeably reduced the activity of hostilities. We let the lads celebrate the holiday in one way or another. The enemy's always on this front. Our aviation was escorted, artillery prepared for attack on Novo Alexandrovka and further to the north, avoiding enemy strongholds, obviously intending to move towards Kalinov. I believe we will get the good news today or tomorrow from this front. Let's wish our lads good luck and cross our fingers for them. At the same time, our troops are also bolstering the left southern flank of our group in this direction. Our army is advancing between two rivers, some fortifications set by the enemy. In the region of Novoselovka, Pervaya, and Umansky, we took over some fortified areas in the Umansky area and continue to move to the southwest. The battle for Novopokrovskoye has started, and I feel good news from this front should keep coming today and in the future. Also, the day before yesterday, during the attack, our troops were able to completely knock out the enemy from the central north, well, a little bit in the north after all. Part of the Netailov, this is the main line of defense of this settlement. Of the enemy, there is a relatively high-rise building, a two-story building, on which the fortified area and the enemy relied. Well, and accordingly, for several days, 3 days, the battle went on. Here are our troops in general. The enemy has been knocked out of here, and even this territory has not been completely cleared. The enemy is stubbornly trying not to let them. Our troops are gaining a foothold here. Their Pivihi is working very tightly, but so far he has nothing. If we manage to gain a foothold in this part of Mitelov, then the way to Karlovka will already be opened, and over the past few days there have been the mopping up of the refractory plant in the area of the village of Krasnohorivka has been completed. That is, our troops have been in the vicinity of the village of Krasnohorivka for quite a long time. We cleared this huge territory of a huge plant, and in general, now this mopping up is over, but as I understand it, we should also expect more offensive action on this front sector. Stubborn battles continue even further south in the Kurakov direction, that's to the west of Novomikhailivka. There have been fierce battles for several days over the populated area of Poroskoivika. The enemy is stubbornly trying to hold the line of defense here. It's worth noting, they've got a very good team here. They're working extremely well and causing us quite a lot of problems considering the circumstances at the front today. Nevertheless, we are gradually pushing the enemy out here too. Meanwhile, battles have resumed in the south in the Vuhledar and Zaporizhia directions, where our troops almost always have daily tactical successes. Further north is the Chasovo Yar area. After our troops managed to reach the canal area to the south, they were able to secure this very important sector. The main fighting over the last few days has been here, not counting yesterday's events. There was a relative calm here, much like the entire front line. So our forces are attempting to break through the enemy's defenses around the settlement of Kalinovo along the southern gully of Kalinov. Regardless of the tactical successes we've had here, we have yet to break through their defense here. While resisting fiercely, the enemy is throwing reserves into the fight. It's critical for them. If they lose this key defense, the fate of Chasiv Yar will be predestined, or rather, it has already been predestined. It will simply happen sooner. It is only a matter of time before our forces take control of the city, and that's very significant, especially since we have had good success in the Cheretensky sector, because the Chasiv Yar operation and the Ocheretin offensive operation act as a prelude to a possibly large-scale battle in the Tarask area with a very high probability that we could encircle this group or force them to retreat far west without a fight. So that's the stakes. Also, there were battles in the northern area around Kislivka. During the 4 days of war, the 47th Tank Division of the 1st Tank Army cleared 2 settlements of the enemy, Kislovsk and Kotliarivka. They also are trying to break through along the watershed ridge immediately from the east, from the south, trying to enter the gully from the south.